Well, hey there, everybody. This is Trish Caparata here, coming from Barrie, Ontario, Canada. How's everybody doing on a Tuesday afternoon, 3 p.m.? I am just excited about this. Can't wait to get this guest speaker on, Robert Ferguson. He's a huge advocate for health and wellness, and that's where I am. So I am a certified nutritionist and diet-free life coach, and this is the CEO of Diet Free Life. So Robert Ferguson is in the house.
All right.
What we're going to do, just so you know, we're going to respect his time. So I want you to listen to everything he says and then post your questions at the end. We're going to go back and pick up the thread later and ask any questions. So I think it's really important that we catch everything here, and we want to respect his time. So Robert Ferguson, you are on, sir.
All
Tell us
right.
a little bit about yourself.
Well, a little bit. I'm born and raised in Anderson, Indiana. My mom worked at General Motors for over 30 years, and I was a mama's boy. What do you think of that?
I've got two in the mama's boys too, so that's okay.
And after high school, I went to the Marine Corps. And while I was in the Marine Corps, I got to do a lot of what I love doing, and that was helping to reduce the likeliness of, believe it or not, domestic violence, stalking, sexual harassment. I spent a lot of time with rape prevention, which led me to getting a degree in counseling psychology, and then discovered weight loss in 1995. And I'll never forget going to my mom saying, "Hey, Mom, I'm going to do a weight loss seminar." And she laughed like she was watching Richard Pryor. Because like, who
one of
are
my
you?
favorites.
Yeah. And so that's when it really began. And I ended up going back to school. It was I was a Nazi as it pertains to nutrition back then, because you take the information that you're given and you assume that it would be correct, right?
Sure.
And so back then, my thought was, if it's white, it ain't right. White flour, white rice, too much salt, and just kind of ran with it until I met this lady who was straight from the Philippines. She came in, and I was working with this chef, and he was teaching me the culinary side of things. And I had told her, don't eat white rice for the first 21 days. She left, she came back in, and he was standing there, and she said, "So don't eat white rice for 21 days? I said, "Yeah, just 21 days. She left, and the chef that I was with, he says, "Man, she's never coming back." I was like, "Well, why would you say that?" He goes, "That's her culture. Since she was a baby, since she was born, her whole life, everyone that she admires in her family eat white rice, and you just took it from her." I never saw that woman again. And that was when I planted the seed of, our methodology must meet people where they are. And that's when the questioning began. And so you fast forward, we are now evidence-based, clinically proven method for helping people not only lose weight, but improve overall health. So that's the short answer.
That's good. I know the long answer too, but that's really good. I like when you said, that's her culture. She's grown up with that. And most people that go on to lose weight, they end up having to give up something that they love. And it's such a struggle for them to actually take the first step, because they think they're going to have to give up something, restrict themselves from something. So I love the methodology behind that. So just give us a little bit of background about the methodology of Diet-Free Life, and let us know what it is.
So I became a registered dietitian along with that, and a fitness trainer. I'm a former pro athlete. And so integrating food, fitness, and mindset with the psychology is what formed Diet Free Life. And so because I was really big on questioning everything, it got us to a place where we were able to prove that you literally can eat what you want. And so in the US, we have these big mega companies, Fortune 20 companies like Aetna, Anthem, United Healthcare. They're big insurance companies. And so I started doing work with Anthem, and I started doing work with United Healthcare. The work I did there was going to food banks and putting our methodology to work, as far as people who couldn't afford to get food would come in and get assistance. And part of the exchange of them getting assistance with food, we would teach them how to optimize that food. So like if it was canned beans, we would show them how to make the canned beans healthier. And as a result of that, people were just blown away. Mm-hmm. And one of their top executives had gone to this other big company, which is called Aetna. And then they gave us an opportunity years later, this took place over a long period of time, where we went to an underserved, under-resourced community. We started with 1,000 families, and we showed them through education
Yeah.
Because, at first I had everyone beating me up saying the solution to getting people healthier is not education. They're like,
Right.
look at us, we're all educated, right? You have all the
True.
physicians, all the dietitians, you have all the nurses, you have all these executives saying, look, we're educated. And if it was that simple, Robert, then everyone would do it. We think it needs to be more of this and more of that. Well,
Right.
we ended up putting it to the challenge, which took almost 5 years for this to work through. Because when you work with Medicaid, underserved, under-resourced communities, you have to get the state, right? It'd be like having to get the province to approve. And so
Right.
the state and then the company and then the vetting process, once we put it out there, oh man, people were the people were happy in the communities, but the people who are decision makers, they were quiet because it did come down to nutrition intelligence.
Right.
And as a result of that, here we are, and now we're at a place where we're expanding, and I'm meeting amazing, awesome people like yourself, and we're partnering, and you then take this methodology and work with people privately, work with people in groups, and give them the good news over the Diet Blues so they don't have to diet, and they can eat the foods they want to eat, or the foods they're going to eat in private anyway, because people are going to do what they're going to do. And so if you could lose weight avoiding carbs, would you rather lose weight eating carbs? Right? So,
yeah, exactly, right?
Hello.
It's such a strange, the conditioning that we've had from the past to say that, to think that if we're going to do a diet, it's for a temporary fix and not a long-term solution. So we always think about a diet as getting into that dress or going away for that event or meeting someone new or all those kind of things. But we never think of it. We think we're going to put in the work because we know that for until we lose 10 pounds or 15 pounds, we can do that. And then we'll just go back to what we're doing before. And I always think that this is always the solution later. But the health repercussions of doing that is it's killing people, literally. It's just, and I mean, that's what the diet-free, when I heard diet-free life, I was just like, oh, is that a thing? And that is so refreshing to actually think about. When I go to eat, I don't have to think about what I'm eating. I just have to make sure that I eat things in the right combinations, right?
That's right.
So you mentioned, and I love the way you mentioned carbs, because you have a thing called fast carbs and slow carbs. Tell us a little bit about how you came up with that simple methodology, and even a grade school person can figure it out.
Well, you know what? After 15 years of doing what I was doing, I still didn't have it down to where I could communicate it and scale it on to the masses. And so I signed to do an infomercial. You remember the Magic Bullet?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the company that created that and did that infomercial, I partnered with them. And then we took my program national. And because they were such good marketers, I was sitting down with them one day and we were talking. And I said, there's one thing missing here. And they're marketers. They just want to make money.
Right,
I'm the guy in there bleed my heart out saying I want to help people, right? So I'm with these marketers and I said, hey, if people eat this carb with this and that, and then they said, well, isn't it about, a starch or a simple, sugar and a complex? I go, no, that's part of the problem. I said, I need a way to place certain foods into certain categories. So protein, we all get. Chicken, fish, turkey. If it had a face, crawled around, flew, it's probably a protein. So we get that. And then you have fat, butter, ghee, oils. So that's pretty obvious because it's highest in fat. But when it was carbs, that's where the confusion was.
Right.
And so the guy looks at me and he goes, what do you think about fast carbs and slow carbs? Would that work? And I was like, that's it.
That's it.
So we created a proprietary formula. So I can take any carb that you put in front of me, any food, and we can quickly place it into one of 6 categories. You have proteins, fast carbs, slow carbs, fats, condiments, and then you have eat all you want type raw when you make what we call a fat burning meal. So it really is as simple as if I'm going to eat, let's say, mac and cheese, which is a fast carb. It doesn't mean it's bad.
Are you listening to this, people? Mac and cheese. He's talking mac and cheese here.
Well, mac and cheese had to be part of the deal.
Yeah.
My favorite dish and my kids' favorite dish for many, many years.
Right.
But if you have your chicken, turkey, meatloaf, whatever your protein is, your fast carb is not a negative, it's just fast. And then with the slow carb, so a slow carb can be broccoli, asparagus, black beans, etc. You now have created a composition of food on a plate that makes it a fat burning meal, and you can then lose weight. And because you're combining the foods this way, you're keeping your blood sugar levels from spiking too high, and you're eating in a way where they don't drop too low. And then you're maximizing many of your hormones, your master hormones, from leptin to insulin to glucagon. All of these things are being optimized, and you don't even got to think about it.
Yeah.
And it works. So remember everything that we said before. I'm sharing this.
Yep.
We're proven,
yep.
Clinically based, evidence-based, clinically proven. If you follow this, the pounds will come off, and the right type of pounds. So we're talking about fat loss and not just weight loss.
Right, and we're going to get to that because there is a thing out there that we measure ourselves with based on weight loss, traditional weight loss, and it's called BMI. And there's a new thing out called BFI. So everybody knows about BMI, and they know what BMI means. It means it's your body mass index. So I want you to tell everybody what the difference is and why we've been, like I always say, we've been duped for so long because of how these methodologies and the measurements came into place and for what reasons, and now it's just kind of there. So explain what BMI is and why BFI is going to be so much better.
Well, the BMI is 100% outdated. And when the BMI was created in the 1830s, it was created as a way to gather data. And you fast forward, there's a gentleman by the name of Ansel Keys in 1972. He published a paper and he coined the phrase body mass index. And Ansel Keys is known for a whole bunch of stuff, to include the Mediterranean diet that he and his wife made popular. But a lot of that was based on lies and things that were false. And he's part of the reason why we had this big movement of reduce fat, low fat, don't eat fat, fat is bad. And it put us in a place where if you take out the fat, you increase the salt, you also increase the carbs. And look at us now. Right?
Yep. And the sugar, and look at us now. That's right. We're all low fat, big people walking around.
Yes, but where he was accurate is he actually said that the BMI should only be used for collecting data around the world. It should not be used as a way to monitor or measure a person's progress or overall health. But we took it and made it that, right? And I say we, I'm talking about the industry, and that's why BMI, you pick up a magazine, everybody's talking about it. Right. So it's not accurate. The thing that is accurate is body fat index. It's knowing what your body fat percentage is. And we live in a world today where technology has advanced that you can literally go to Walmart, Target, Amazon, and you can get a scale that measures your body fat percentage. And it doesn't have to be 100% accurate, but it's accurate enough that if you only use that, you can see the progress you make as well as the degress you make. Now, when you talk about just monitoring our weight, this is where we get ourselves in a ton of trouble. Let's say that Susie's watching you and I have this talk, and she goes, I'm going to start getting healthier today, right? And she starts walking, and she starts exercising, and she starts eating healthier, the way she defines healthy.
That's right.
She's feeling good. She feels like her clothes are better, and she steps on the scale, and her weight hasn't changed. Now she gets frustrated. She gets a little upset, and she's like, man, nothing's working. And then next thing you know, she's so discouraged that she quits based on what the scale says.
Right.
Well, the scale is not looking at your fat weight. It's not looking at anything but your overall weight. And if the average person is at least 100, if you step on a scale and you weigh 200 pounds, 100 plus of those pounds is water. So we can change the water. If you drink more water on Monday, you may be lighter on the scale Tuesday, but if you cut back your water on Tuesday, then you may retain and hold water, so you're heavier on Wednesday. Whereas you may have dropped some body fat, but because you're letting the scale dictate your mood, you give up.
That's right. That's right. That scale, I'm telling you, people, you got to get a new scale. If you're going to love your scale again, I want you to just trash the old one and pick up one that actually measures the proper information so that you have some kind of faith that what you're doing is actually doing well. Because tell them what happens when you lose body mass index body mass versus fat? Like what happens to your body when you do
Well,
that?
it's more and more you're starting to see people who are thin, who appear to be thin or fit or healthy. They're not overweight, and they're becoming insulin resistant, pre-diabetic. They're becoming diabetic. And there's a whole bunch of other conditions that are linked to excess body fat, and not subcutaneous fat underneath the skin and between the skin and the muscle, and not just intramuscular, the fat that's like marbling in a steak that's in your muscles, but the visceral fat that causes all these problems. We call those people toffies, thin on the outside and fat on the inside. Well, for years, think about how they've been eating, and you meet these people. Oh yeah, I don't really have to worry about what I eat, and they have no idea of the fat compounding around their pancreas. They have no idea. But if they were checking their body fat percentage, they would 100% be aware of that, and then they could make little shifts. So, in answer to your question, understanding what body composition is all about is the game changer. And very, 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 very soon, we as Diet-Free Life coaches will be part of a big global announcement that will be tied into BFI, where through your phone, within 2%, okay, accuracy, through your phone, you will be able to put in certain information and know what your body fat percentage is. Unbelievable.
That's huge. That's huge. That is huge.
I can only share so much at this moment.
Yeah.
But trust me, in the second quarter of 2019,
yeah.
If someone's watching this in October, they know all about it. Right?
Yeah. Because it's going to be streaming live everywhere.
Everywhere. It's going to be on the news. We're going to be doing a big tour throughout Canada, throughout the U.S. I'm teaming up with some politicians. We are 100% going to put the BMI out of business.
Yep, and put the BFI on the map. Yes, I think it's time. We need to get rid of those because our conditioning is so set on all of those things that, yeah, this is a much better way to understand. Because when you take priority in your health and you have the proper measurements and you've got the proper ability to monitor that, it makes sense. But if you're just going with the rest of everybody else, and that's what happens, the followers, right? Oh, that's working for Susie Q, so it must work for me. And if you can get into a lot of trouble, if you think that works at like the cookie cutter box program, here you go, it works for everybody. It doesn't. You have to understand your own body composition and what you are in order for that to have success. So I think that whole, stinking thinking, I call it, has got to go. So we got to be open for other things.
Like there's this ongoing debate or this idea that I bring up all the time. And I said, what I would love to see is you get all of these people with these diets, put us all in a room with a whole bunch of cameras, and just let's talk.
Can you imagine?
Oh, in the end, people can get kicked off. It could be like an American Idol Canadian.
Oh, it would be chaos. Yeah, it'd be chaos.
And eventually, the cream rises to the top, and clarity will be there. And once you have clarity, people will then begin to develop confidence. But because no one's doing that, it's almost like you and I are sitting in Toronto. And I say, hey, I want to go to Hawaii. And you go, yeah, I want to go to Hawaii. I go, all right, let's take the bus. And you're like, yeah, let's do it. And we get on the bus to go to Hawaii. And we fall asleep and we wake up and the bus says, we're here. And we get out and we're in New York or we're in Florida. It's like, well, this isn't Hawaii. Well, catch the next bus, right? So we
didn't make it. We didn't make it.
We spent our whole life getting on buses thinking we're going to end up in Hawaii. And that's what happens with people with diets.
Yeah.
Get on the bus thinking they're going to get to their destination. But eventually, there's this clarity that comes. And you go, hey, I'm going to get on the bus and go to Hawaii. You going to go with me? And you go, no. The only way we can get to Hawaii, Robert, is boat or plane.
Yeah, let's get there.
And I'm like, really? And that's like, so when someone says, what's the difference between Diet-Free Life? It is a vehicle that's going to get you to the destination you say you want to get to. And with that, it's a freedom bus, because diets are about deprivation and restriction and giving up and can'ts. And freedom is like sanity. Oh my goodness. Like, I just feel so much better. And all of that comes about with the simplicity of a sustainable way of eating that you don't have to give up any of the foods that you love.
I know that's crazy thinking, people, but it is true. This man is not crazy. It is so true. And I have to tell you, it's so liberating for me to choose a meal, just to eat a meal, knowing I have the knowledge and education that I need in order to make a fat burning. And you know what? I knew when I started taking your training, I made mistakes. I realized the mistakes I was making. No wonder I was in a fat storing mode versus fat burning, because the combination of food is super important. So when people think that they want to eat their oats with their banana, guess what? That's not, or they want to eat their hamburger with their French fries, and that, or potato with bread, like baked potato with it. All that stuff is just like, when you got the knowledge and you've done it, and all you do is it's just a whole way. You go into the fridge and you pick the right thing. It's just not like, clearing out the house and clearing out the cupboards and firing the kids and closing the doors and locking the chains and, being this miserable person for 10, 15 weeks and then coming out going like, I'm not doing that again. Right? And everybody else has been. But you're right. People are happy because they're doing things that they're losing fat to gain health, to reduce those diseases that we know that are caused by carrying excess weight, which is huge. And now they're living a life of freedom, because it doesn't matter where they are, what economy they live on, what budget they have, they can now do exactly the same thing. Right. And that is the key. This is not cookie cutter. This is for everybody, and everybody uses their own knowledge and their own food and their own budgets to create a lifestyle that's going to be amazing.
Sounds good to me.
I know. I want to get on that freedom bus.
It's one of those things where it's like, the opportunity is there. I'll never forget, I was on this show, and to my left and right, it was actually three of us that specialized in weight loss. And it was during January, so everybody was talking about it. And I was like, I sit back and I'm quiet and I was listening. And they were saying, like, during the talk, put down that cookie. Don't eat that brownie. People need to quit eating fast food. People need to stop eating rice, white rice. Like, they were just so negative. And then finally the moderator goes, so Robert, how do you feel about, brownies and cookies? And I go, well, I would never tell someone they couldn't have what they want to eat. Instead, I would show them how they can have it and still get the results that they say they want. And right. The room was quiet.
Yeah, no kidding. It's going
and
like it.
We're like, so these experts kept talking about, well, I have a cheat day on this day, and
I hate that word, cheat day. Like, yeah. Oh my God, cheat like that.
So how do you feel about cheating, Robert? I go, if I can eat what I want when I want, then I'm never cheating. A cheat is, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
There's nothing to cheat because there's nothing being restricted, and they couldn't get their mind around it.
No, it's a hard thing to get your mind around, because we're so conditioned. We're so clever marketing out there. Like you said, it's just in your face all the time, especially this time of year. And people bounce around from program to program thinking that's the newest and the bestest, and I'm going to do that, realizing they're still depriving their body of something it needs. They're not eating the right combination, because our bodies are designed perfectly, people. It is a perfectly designed body. It knows what to do. If you feed it crap, it's going to give you crap back. If you feed it what it needs in order to keep your metabolic rate steady, which is eating every 2 to 3 hours in a format that's going to work with them, your body's going to be happy. It's going to pay back.
And I'm glad you just brought that up. And sorry to interject, because I didn't fully answer one of your questions. And that was when people drop fat weight compared to weight loss. When is weight loss and it's not fat, right? So you're losing weight, but you don't know where the weight's coming from.
Right.
You just know that you're lighter on the scale. Oftentimes, metabolism will slow, which means it's going to be more difficult later to continue to lose weight or keep the weight from coming back on. Osteoporosis becomes very real. You with me?
I'm with you. Oh, yeah.
And if your lean body mass goes down and you're giving up some of that lean muscle tissue and the bone density is going down, and you're experiencing what we call sarcopenia, which is vanishing flesh, now you're more likely and more prone for even first and second occurrence of various cancers.
That's right.
We actually know of 16 cancers that are associated with body fat.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna say something. I'm not gonna put these guys under the bus.
No.
I'll make a point. I was invited to one of the largest organizations on cancer prevention for women, with a big focus on breast cancer.
Yep.
So I go there and I said, okay, so after you guys do the big walks and you raise all the money, how do you help those people into the next year? And they're like, what do you mean?
I know, it's an event. That's it. Yeah.
It's all about the event, make the money, and then, hey, see you guys next year.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
are you helping those people? Like, is there any formula? Are you making anything available? And as we were talking, I realized that it wasn't about 100% helping the people. It was about raising money. And we were so naive and had no clue on the correlation between body fat and reoccurrence of cancer.
That's right.
Unbelievable. And fast forward, I 100% chose not to work with this company. It was an uphill battle. And I see TV, I see their ads everywhere. And it makes me just sick to my stomach.
Yeah, it is, especially when you know they're taking advantage. And being the breast cancer survivor, it gets me angry too, because it's just another event coming up. And this is really why I wanted this piece in my business, so I can offer all the solutions, making sure the supplements I support and the education I support are now like combined into one package. So I've got the full package. And to me, that was more important to me, to get that piece so that people understand, and it's not just a product pushing thing. It is a lifestyle that is there's two parts to it. And if you follow it, you will get better. And why wouldn't somebody now approaching weight loss, I call it fat loss too, like weight is just like approaching fat loss for the health of it. Like that's where we need to be, is let's approach fat loss for the health of it versus the dress or the event or the new boyfriend or the new husband or whatever, right? Let's make it a lifestyle so that we are always open to those kind of things and we never have to worry about it.
That's true. But I remember, you remember the guy Bob Green?
Yes.
So I was in the midst of Bob Green, and he had made a statement about people will move and they'll get engaged and they'll start to lose weight or become healthier, like for an event and all those things. And my spin on it was based on direct response marketing.
Right.
Do everything you can to get them in the tent. And once you get them in the tent and build and get their trust, the integrity of who you are will show itself.
Right.
So if you got an event, you want to look hot for this date in a couple weeks, right? Come on in. I'm gonna help you out. I'm never going to do anything that contradicts our methodology.
Right.
I'm 100% gonna like grab you by the hand, however, help you get where you need to be, and hopefully create that shift so that it becomes a lifestyle for you. I'm real big on that. And you made me think of did you read some of the data that I provided recently on the power of that product that you do make available to people, CLA?
Oh yeah, I did. Yes, I did read that. So I mean, there's 2 supplements that you endorse, and I am super pumped about that too, which is why I chose to partner with you, because I do believe in the scientific background of those 2 supplements, and they make a big difference in the journey as well too. Are you able to share a little bit about that?
Oh, absolutely.
So you go, because this is important. I know we're going to go over a little bit, but these 2 supplements I am so passionate about, only because I know what it does to my body and health-wise. But I know that so I'm going to let you take over and you talk about those, because it is really important that people understand why it's an amazing part of that.
If a supplement company could win the Nobel Peace Prize based on a supplement, and I say this all the time, then I believe that these 2 products would warrant that.
Yeah.
And if you look at Trim, which I call the fat shrinker, it has the clinical strength of CLA, that there are clinicals in place with a clinical strength, 3.4 grams. Okay, that's a tablespoon, that helps with osteoporosis and helps with optimizing lean body mass and helps with shrinking the unwanted fat cells. I mean, what else is there to talk about? And through vitro and some of working with mice, it's not confirmed, But this clinical strength patented version of CLA helps with prevention of first and reoccurrence of breast cancer.
Hallelujah.
They're very specific. Now,
Yes.
all the signs say that. So to me, if something is not hurting you and it has all these other benefits, no, it's not conclusive for breast. I mean, no one knows. Who knows? It could be stuff in the carpet. We don't know. But you know what? My mom is a double, 2-time survivor of breast cancer, and she uses this product every day. Why? Because it's my mom. And I'm not going to not share with my mom something that I know to be true.
That's
you know what I mean? Like, that makes total sense. So when someone gets these products or become aware of them, I get the fact that it may come across as too good to be true. You know what I mean? Like, and with the
we all think that, but it's out there. It is, but it's different.
There's so much crap out there. I get it. You know, you go into GNC. I mean, GNC, really? Like, most of you guys are 18-year-old and not beating up on 18-year-olds. They need a job too. But you got someone who's going by the marketing. They're reading the label. You come in, they see you looking for an answer, looking for a solution, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is what you want to take right here."
Right, exactly.
And I would go to my mom's house.
Need this.
I would go to my mom's house or like family members, and I would see stuff, and I go, "So when did you buy that?" Well, I was up late at night, saw this infomercial, right? Which I get because I was that guy. Or, you know, they're at the store. So it's just one of those things, like, you are bringing the total package to people.
Yeah.
Is, look, I'm going to help you anyway. We know that the way you eat and the way you move are very important. If you take a pharmaceutical drug, it always says results vary. They tell you all the negatives that can come about, but they also say that if you want to optimize, then eat better.
Right.
They're vague, but eat better and move more.
Right.
Well, the same thing. So if I got these products from you, at least you're helping me with my nutrition. You know what I mean? You're helping me with my nutrition. And if I want to optimize, then hey, I'm gonna supplement the right way.
Right.
So there you go. I mean, I could go on and on and on, and I don't want to. I don't want to come across selling people because we want to help people, and that's, if you ever hear me talk about like supplementation, which is a big part of, you know, the world of fitness, even academy.
World of the dieting, it's all about, I mean, that, gee.
But it's just one of those things where I'm always going to lead with lifestyle. Always. Yeah. Because if you're eating crap and you're moving, like barely moving if ever, and you're doing more damage and you're conscious of it, you can't just assume I'm going to take this supplement, it's going to be a game changer.
Yeah, and there's many of them out there. I see them every day. You know, it's something that looks like plumped up chia seeds they're all about, you know, it's just horrible. It's horrible to think that, and I looked at the thing and it said 2 billion units sold. And I'm going, that's 2 billion people that are getting the wrong information from the wrong people because they don't know. They just don't know.
Yep.
And these two supplements are part of that nutritional support along the journey of trying to lose fat and get healthy.
And I mean, they work for me, and my mom uses them, and I recommend them. And like I was sharing the other day, I was doing a talk, and you know, whenever I do talks in front of like the medical industry, I have to disclose any sponsorships that I have.
Right.
To include repping and promoting these products. And I do it with total confidence. And I'll have like some of my physician friends, and they'll look at me and go, "What, really?" And I go, "Yeah, really. Let's go sit down and have a conversation."
Yeah.
Let's sit down and have a conversation.
That would be an amazing fly on the wall conversation. Let me tell you.
I have those all the time, and I literally will look at them and I go, "Are you okay?" Like, seriously, I'll look at like some of my friends who are dermatologists, and they know about the benefits of this liquid collagen.
Right.
And I show it to them, and they're like, and I go, "Really? You're out here promoting hyaluronic acid,
right?
As far as injectables. Now you have something that works from the inside,
right?
And we know that in 28 days, based on clinicals, that we've seen an increase, 60-fold, right? 6,000% increase of hyaluronic acid. And if you know what hyaluronic acid is, and you value your nails, your skin, your hair, your gums, your joints, you know what I mean? Like if that's of any importance to you, why wouldn't you be using this product?
That's right.
The only reason why you wouldn't be using these products is you're a dummy. So I hate to say it like that.
Let's just call it, people.
Well, and I don't want to offend anyone, but my good buddy Calvin Fry, he would say they're a dumbass, right? He's a scientist, and when we say they're a dumbass, that's not belittling anyone. That's someone who is privy to the truth, and they still, because of their ego or whatever reluctance they have that makes no sense, they're just overshadow it, sweep it under the rug, and just move on. Absolutely.
I know.
So I actually get heated in some of these conversations.
I can imagine, but I can imagine when people pull up that wall, and it's just about just open your mind to new things. Just open it up. You take what you like, you leave the rest. But like you say, if you know all this and you know that, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't?
Like we take more things that harm our body because we think it's going to be the right thing, but we don't go into the like what is in that. But we're too, when it's a natural product that works with your body and it's got all these good benefits, now we're all up and like, what? Wait a minute. Whoa, stop the bus. I got to check this out. I got to talk to my doctor. I got to talk to the scientist behind. I'll get back to you. But you know what? I see people grabbing stuff off the shelves without even a second thought and going to the pharmacist, say, yeah, you should do that. And most of them are fillers. Like they're just, by the time you get to the actual ingredients in some of those things, it's really, my husband used to make tablets at a pharmaceutical company. And I always say, well, why is your tablet bigger than mine? And he said, because 90% of it is filler because the ingredient is so tiny, you can't make a pill out of it. So when you talk about taking those kind of over-the-counter things that are like big, and by the time the ingredient is actually there, there's no benefit. Now you're just taking a filler. But we're so quick to do that, right?
And that's in the medical desk reference also. I mean, it's very clear that if you're taking a pill, consuming powder, taking a tablet, the bioavailability as far as the effectiveness of it getting where we need it to go is like very low. I think it's under 40%. But if it's a liquid, then you're upwards of 90%. And so it's one of those things where we just got to educate people.
That's right.
Educate them with love and care. And, we're not going to look at everybody as a dummy. We're going to give you information. We're going to help you out. Okay? Help you out.
Help you all out. So I want to appreciate, I just can't tell you enough about taking the time of your day to do this, because it is so important to me, to the community I serve, to let them understand that I'm on their side. I'm on their side to help them through the journey, and I want them to succeed, and I want to give them the right information. You've got a phrase that you coined that the misinformed is often led by the uninformed, or the other way around, but it makes sense because I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to be the uninformed leading the misinformed. I want to be the informed. Nice. And I want to get the education in front of people, which is this. And I am so happy to be a partner in your Diet-Free Life as a coach and nutritionist, that this is like, I am so on fire about this. And I just appreciate you coming forward in your life and working so hard as an advocate and a lobbyist and a person out there for the people, no matter where they are. So I so appreciate this whole methodology, which is why I stand behind 100%.
Well, thank you. And for those of you who are tuned in and you're catching this, make sure you go to Trisha's website, because she has an awesome newsletter, a ton of information there. You can learn more about products. You can learn more about just information. So go to, I'm giving you a plug the best I can.
Hey, that's great. I appreciate that.
The goal is that people are connected with you, because they know that you're on a mission. And
that's right.
Making it happen. I'm on a mission, and we have other coaches on a mission. And the way they say it in Ethiopia is that when spider webs unite, connecting those dots, you can tie up an elephant. And it takes a team to make the difference. And that's what we're doing, making a difference. So thank you for having me.
Awesome.
Sharing me with your friends and family and peers.
Hey, I had to, because I didn't think you're a real guy. Now they know you are. And I'm going to post the link for my website in the comments after. So check it out. I really appreciate it, Robert. You have a fantastic day, and we will be chatting soon.
Okay, same to you. Have a good one. Bye-bye, everyone.
You too.